Good evening, all my dear kids. First of all, very happy Saraswati Puja to each one of you, and a very happy Basant Panchami to all of you. May Ma Saraswati bless us all with the gift of abundant knowledge, perseverance, patience, and a lot of success. So, let's start the lecture. A good day starts with a good thought. So today's thought is believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something in you that is greater than any obstacle. So always believe in yourself and keep your spirit high. March towards your goal and you'll definitely going to achieve it. With this, we are going to start the lecture on structure of atom. It's a one-shot revision video. So let's quickly begin. So here we come to the important facts. Before starting, I'll turn off my camera so that you concentrate more on the lecture. So I hope I'm clearly audible to each one of you. Let's begin. John Dalton assumed that the atom is indivisible. Just a second. I hope it's clear now. John Dalton assumed that the atom is indivisible. Who assumed that the atom was indivisible? John Dalton. According to him, atom could not be divided into any further parts. Now, in 1886, mark down the year. Everybody just mark down the year. Jot down all the important points in your notebook. This lecture is extremely important and I'm covering all the important points from top to bottom. So you need to sit with a notebook and a pen. Note down all the important points that I'm telling you. Perfect? So in 1866, E. Goldstein discovered the presence of new radiations in a gas discharge tube and called them canal rays. So who discovered presence of new radiations in a gas discharge tube? E. Goldstein, and called them canal rays. These rays were positively charged. Very, very important. Mark a 3-star. Come on. And these radiations led to the discovery of subatomic particle proton. Now which subatomic particle? Proton. P for proton and P for positive. So proton is positively charged. Got it, everyone? Now, according to John Dalton, he said that the atom is indivisible. Atom को और छोटे parts में तोड़ा नहीं जा सकता. But with the discovery of proton, discovered by E. Goldstein, it was proved that atom can be further divided into smaller parts. So his theory, John Dalton's theory, was proved to be wrong. Okay, let's just move ahead. Now in 1900, mark the year, in 1900, J.J. Thomson discovered subatomic particle electron with a negative charge. Electron had a negative charge. I hope you are writing down each and everything. Okay. So this is the picture of John Dalton here. You can see E. Goldstein and you can see John Dalton, E. Goldstein and J.J. Thomson here. Okay. Now what are the differences between electron and proton? Very probable question in your exams. It may be a 3-mark question. So better write it down. Proton is positively charged. P for proton, P for positive. Electron is negatively charged. I hope you are noticing the symbol E minus to the and P plus you can see in the power. Its mass is negligible. Mass of electron is actually, the absolute mass of electron is 9.1 into 10 to the power 31 kgs. I'm repeating that again. 9.1 into 10 to the power 31 kgs. But we are considering the relative mass here. So the relative mass of electron with respect to the other particles is negligible. Okay? And the mass of proton is 1 unit. Charge is -1 on electron and charge is +1 on proton. J.J. Thomson discovered electron and E. Goldstein discovered proton. Neutron was discovered by Chadwick and his full name is James Chadwick. N for neutral, N for neutron. So neutron is neutral particles. Neutrons have no charge. Neutrons have no charge. Now we move on to Thomson's model. Thomson's model was also called plum in pudding model. Very important, it's not written in the slides. That is why I am dictating it. It is also called plum in pudding model or watermelon model. What is it called? Plum in pudding model or watermelon model. So, according to his model, thus in the sphere of protons, electrons are embedded. Electrons are distributed. So, there is a positively charged sphere. You can see the diagram here, very clear. The sphere is positively charged. It is made up of protons. And electrons, negatively charged particles, electrons are embedded inside the positively charged sphere. पूरा sphere positive charge का बना है, protons का, और उसके अंदर charge, negative charge धसे हुए हैं. They are embedded. Electrons are embedded inside it. जैसे watermelon पूरा red part का red बना होता है और उसके अंदर seeds embedded होती हैं. Very important point of Thomson's model is positive charge is equals to negative charge. Atom is electrically neutral. According to Thomson's model, atom is electrically neutral. Next, we come on to Rutherford's model. But before looking into the theory, I am going to explain this with the help of pictures. So this is Rutherford's experimental setup. This is what he did. He took a very thin piece of gold foil. Now this whatever I am telling you, it may come in 3 or 5 marks in your exams. So extremely important from the exam point of view. So Rutherford took a very thin piece of gold foil. Just assume it to be 1 atom thick. ऐसा हो नहीं सकता, लेकिन it's just for assumption कि ये 1 atom thick है. इतना thin gold foil लिया. Now he surrounded the gold foil with zinc sulfide screen. Zinc sulfide screen से इसे पूरा surround कर दिया. Fine. Now zinc sulfide screen is a detecting screen. ये कैसी screen है? Detecting screen. जब भी alpha particles इस screen पे bombard किए जाएंगे, this screen at that point will glow. उस point पे screen क्या करेगी? Glow करेगी. Okay? And alpha particles were kept in the lead box. Can you see the lead box? तो lead का क्यों use किया गया? Because lead is chemically inert. तो उसको इसीलिए यूज किया गया so that it does not react with the alpha particle. What is an alpha particle? Very important question. Please write it down. Alpha particle is the nucleus of helium atom. Alpha particle is, come on, repeat with me, nucleus of helium atom. When you take out 2 electrons from the helium atom, its nucleus is left, which is called alpha particle. Done? So this was the experimental setup. Now we will move towards the observations. What were the observations and what the conclusions he drew from the observations. So these were the observations. The first observation was most of the alpha particles passed in a straight line. Most of the alpha particles passed undeviated from the gold foil. जब अल्फा पार्टिकल्स को बम्बार्ड कराया गया तो बहुत सारे अल्फा पार्टिकल्स, मोस्ट ऑफ द अल्फा पार्टिकल्स कैसे पास कर गए? स्ट्रेट पास कर गए. Okay, without any deviation. Some of the alpha particles deviated through a small angle. कुछ alpha particles, you can see that here. कुछ alpha particles, a beam of alpha particles show small deflection. कुछ ने थोड़ा सा deflection दिखाया. And some of them rebounded. 1 out of 12,000 atoms. I repeat again. 1 out of every 12,000 particles rebounded, retraced its path. एकदम से turn back उसी line में कर गए. Some of them shown large deflection. So these were all the observations. You can see the atoms of the gold foil. Okay, and this was the beam of the alpha particle. Now we will move towards the conclusion. अब इससे रदरफोर्ड को क्या पता चला? What did he came to know? What did he concluded? So we are back on the theory page. Alpha particles plus 2 charge and 4 mass. Why? Because it is helium atoms nucleus. When fast moving alpha particles are bombarded on very thin gold foil, when fast moving alpha particles are bombarded on very thin gold foil, these were the observations. Most of the alpha particles pass straight through the gold foil. This we have seen. Some of the alpha particles were deviated by small angles, right? And 1 out of 12,000 particles appeared to rebound. Directly retraces path. जैसे आया था वैसे ही लौट गया. Did we see all this? Now next, what were the conclusions? So these were the observations and the conclusions. The conclusions which he drew were, most of the space inside the atom is empty because alpha particles pass straight through the gold foil. ज़्यादातर alpha particles कैसे pass हो गए? Straight. That is why he concluded कि ज़्यादातर space जो है atom में वो क्या है? Empty. Very few alpha particles were deviated, deflected from the path because of positive charge of the atom occupies very little space. जो positive charge है atom का, what did he mean by the positive charge? क्या मतलब है? जो nucleus है उसमें क्या क्या है? Protons and neutrons. Neutrons का charge 0, protons का charge positive. तो overall nucleus का charge कितना हो गया? कितना हो गया? पॉजिटिव ही हो गया. न्यूट्रॉन्स न्यूट्रल है, उनका कोई चार्ज नहीं है. प्रोटॉन्स का क्या है? पॉजिटिव. तो ओवरऑल न्यूक्लियस का चार्ज क्या हो गया? पॉजिटिव. वन मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट पॉइंट हियर, प्रोटॉन्स एंड न्यूट्रॉन्स आर कलेक्टिवली कॉल्ड न्यूक्लियॉन्स. प्रोटॉन्स और न्यूट्रॉन्स को कलेक्टिवली क्या कहा जाता है? न्यूक्लियॉन्स. ओके. Very small fraction of alpha particles were rebounded back. 1 out of 12,000. We know that all the positive charge and mass of the gold atom is concentrated in very small volume of atom. Atom अगर एक फुटबॉल फील्ड है तो न्यूक्लियस कितना है? It is a size of a pea. छोटे से मटर के दाने जितना है. So now you can understand the comparison. Radius of the nucleus was calculated and it was 105 times less than the radius of the atom. Now you can compare and you can understand कि कितना space nucleus occupy करता है और कितना space वाकई में atom के अंदर है, right? Center positive charge called nucleus. सेंटर में क्या है? पॉजिटिव चार्ज है और उस पॉजिटिव चार्ज को क्या कहा? न्यूक्लियस. ऑल द मास ऑफ द एटम रिसाइड्स इन द न्यूक्लियस. इलेक्ट्रॉन्स क्या हैं? रिवॉल्व अराउंड द न्यूक्लियस इन ऑर्बिट्स. Electrons have negligible mass and they revolve around the nucleus in orbits. Size of the nucleus is very small as compared to the size of the atom. आपको साइज पता चल गई न्यूक्लियस की और एटम की. Now you can easily compare. What were the drawbacks of Rutherford model? क्यों Rutherford model को रिजेक्ट कर दिया गया? When an electron undergoes acceleration, it radiates energy. जब वो रोटेट कर रहा है, जब वो रिवॉल्व कर रहा है एक न्यूक्लियस के अराउंड, जब एक इलेक्ट्रॉन रिवॉल्व करता है तो उसकी कुछ ना कुछ एक्सेलरेशन होगी. अगर उसकी कुछ ना कुछ एक्सेलरेशन है तो इस हिसाब से तो वो एनर्जी रेडिएट करना चाहिए, कुछ उसकी एनर्जी लॉस होनी चाहिए और इसी हिसाब से वो एनर्जी लूज़ करेगा. और अगर वो एनर्जी लूज़ करेगा तो इस हिसाब से तो उसे न्यूक्लियस के अंदर फॉल डाउन कर जाना चाहिए कुछ टाइम बाद. यस, तो मैंने इट रेडिएट्स एनर्जी, इट शुड लूज एनर्जी, और एनर्जी उसकी कम होती जाएगी तो धीरे धीरे उसे न्यूक्लियस में गिर जाना चाहिए. ड्यू टू दिस एटम वुड बी हाईली अनस्टेबल. लेकिन हम क्या जानते हैं एटम के बारे में? एटम्स आर क्वाइट स्टेबल. दैट मीन्स समथिंग वॉज रॉन्ग इन द Rutherford model which the Bohr's model corrected. Bohr's model was presented by Niels Bohr. तो अब आ गए हम बोर्स मॉडल पे. बोर्स मॉडल सेड दैट ओनली स्पेशल ऑर्बिट्स नोन एज डिस्क्रीट ऑर्बिट्स ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स आर अलाउड इन द एटम. अब रदरफोर्ड ने ये नहीं बताया था कि अगर ऑर्बिट्स में अरेंज है तो वो कैसे. बोर्स ने यही कंफ्यूजन को क्लियर किया, बोर ने, और कहा नील्स बोर, ही सेड दैट कुछ स्पेसिफिक ऑर्बिट्स ही हैं, कुछ स्पेशल ऑर्बिट्स ही हैं जिनको हम डिस्क्रीट ऑर्बिट्स कहते हैं, वही अलाउड हैं एक एटम के अंदर. सारे कुछ भी एटम का ऑर्बिट कुछ भी नहीं हो सकता, कुछ स्पेशल ऑर्बिट्स ही हैं जो कि अलाउड हैं. और इन डिस्क्रीट ऑर्बिट्स में रिवॉल्व करते टाइम इलेक्ट्रॉन्स विल नॉट रेडिएट एनर्जी. ओके, और इन्हीं इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, इन्हीं लेवल्स को हम क्या कहेंगे? एनर्जी लेवल्स. अब यू कैन सी दैट इन ऑर्बिट्स को हम क्या कहेंगे? एनर्जी लेवल्स. एंड वी रिप्रेजेंट इट एज KLMN और द नंबर्स n इज इक्वल्स टू 1 2 3 4. यहाँ पे क्लियर रिप्रेजेंटेशन है. यू कैन सी द पॉजिटिव चार्ज न्यूक्लियस, ऑर्बिट नंबर 1, शेल नंबर 1, K शेल, L शेल, M and N शेल. परफेक्ट. लेट अस मूव अहेड. तो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स इन डिफरेंट ऑर्बिट. अब अगर ये इलेक्ट्रॉन्स ऑर्बिट में हैं तो इनकी अरेंजमेंट कैसी होगी? द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन विल बी कि इनकी अरेंजमेंट कैसी होगी. तो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन के लिए बोर एंड बरी रूल्स आर गिवन. व्हाट इज द रूल? maximum number of electrons present in a shell is given by 2n square, where n is the number of shell. This is very, very important for your exams. Please mark it down. The formula is 2n square for finding the maximum number of electrons present in a shell. अगर shell number 1 है, K shell है, तो electrons कितने होंगे? 2 into n square. n will be 1. 1 का square is 1 and 2 into 1 is 1. So therefore the answer is 2 electrons. Maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in the outermost orbit is 8. हमेशा outermost orbit में कितने electrons आएंगे? Maximum 8. Electrons are not accommodated in a given shell unless the inner shells are completely filled. इसका मतलब ये कि सबसे पहले इनर शेल्स को फिल किया जाएगा. फर्स्ट द K शेल विल बी फिल्ड, देन L, देन M and then the further shells. I hope it's crystal clear now. And these are the definitions. Before that, let me show you something. Children, this is the representation according to Bohr and Bury rule. The first shell contains 2 electrons. Second shell, 8 electrons. You can put the shell number in the formula. Put the shell number in place of n. You can find out the number of electrons that will be present. Maximum number of electrons that can be present in a particular shell. So children, do hit the like button if you like my method of teaching. I teach with the help of pictures and examples. So here we come to some important definitions of this chapter. The first is valency. Very, very important. The combining capacity of an atom is called its valency. जैसे ऑक्सीजन की वैलेंसी is 2. तो कितना कंबाइन, उसकी कैपेसिटी कितनी है कि वो दूसरे एटम के साथ कंबाइन कर सके, इलेक्ट्रॉन शेयर कर सके, डोनेट कर सके या गेन कर सके, दैट इज वैलेंसी. कार्बन की वैलेंसी क्या है 4, ऑक्सीजन की 2, तो उनकी वैसी वैसी कैपेसिटी है. दिस इज द कंबाइनिंग कैपेसिटी ऑफ द एटम एंड दैट इज कॉल्ड वैलेंसी. Atomic number is equal to the number of protons. Now one more very important thing that you must note down is, in an electrically neutral atom, number of electrons is equal to number of protons, which we have already discussed in the Thomson's model, right? तो अगर ऐसा है कि एक इलेक्ट्रिकली न्यूट्रल एटम में नंबर ऑफ प्रोटॉन्स आर इक्वल टू द नंबर ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, देन एटॉमिक नंबर कैन बी द नंबर ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स एज वेल. यस, एंड मास नंबर इज इक्वल टू द सम ऑफ प्रोटॉन्स एंड न्यूट्रॉन्स. अभी हमने देखा कि ऑल द मास ऑफ द एटम रिसाइड्स इन द न्यूक्लियस, और न्यूक्लियस में कौन होंगे? न्यूक्लियॉन्स. सो न्यूक्लियॉन्स आर द कलेक्टिव name for protons and neutrons. Again a very important question, star mark. The question is, what are nucleons? Nucleons are all the sum of protons and neutrons present in an atom. Now this is very important, the representation. How are you going to represent the mass number and the atomic number? So this is the element X. Suppose it is chlorine, so it will be Cl for chlorine, O for oxygen, N for nitrogen, etc. So A is the mass number and A will be represented here. Did you see this? And atomic number is Z, which will be represented here. So carbon is represented in the same format and nitrogen is represented in the same format. Remember, A is the mass number, which is equal to the sum of protons and neutrons, and Z is the atomic number, which is equal to the number of protons and number of electrons in an electrically neutral atom. I am emphasizing on the important points again and again. Please do jot it down in your copies. Now isotopes. What are isotopes? Again, very important questions may come. Atoms of same element with same atomic number but different mass number are called isotopes. Same atomic number but different mass number and the element is the same. अरे atomic number same तो same element का ही होगा, right? So the chemical properties are same but physical properties are different, since the mass is different, since the number of protons and neutrons are different, but the chemical properties are dependent on the atomic number, so they are same. You can see C12 and C14. C14 is a radioactive isotope of carbon. You can see that the atomic number is same but the mass number is different. These examples are given just for your clarification. What are the applications of isotope? Why do we use them? So uranium isotope is used as a fuel. Uranium is used as a nuclear fuel, right? And the isotope is U-235. Okay, the isotope is U-235. That's for uranium, radioactive isotope. Isotope of cobalt is used in the treatment of cancer, and isotope of iodine used for the treatment of goiter. Simple. Iodine किससे related है? Goiter. Uranium is related to nuclear fuel. Cobalt is for cancer. C for cobalt, C for cancer. Perfect. Next, isobars. Just exactly opposite of isotopes, you can say that. Different elements, same mass number but different atomic numbers are called isobars. Like calcium and argon, you can see mass number is 40 in both the cases but the atomic numbers are different. 20 for calcium and 18 for argon. Is that clear? So here comes the most awaited part of the lecture, that is the quiz time. So the first question is, who discovered proton? Your first option is J.J. Thomson. Second option is James Chadwick. Third option is E. Goldstein. And fourth option is John Dalton. Come on children, I want no confusion. Answer in 5 seconds. Quick. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you get that right. The answer is E. Goldstein. Next. So should I bombard next question on you? So here comes the next question. If the shell number is 3, I repeat, if the shell number is 3, find the maximum number of electrons present in the shell. Use the formula 2n square. Now I gave you a major hint. You just have to put the value and solve and get the answer. So 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the answer is, you got that right. Option 1, 18. The next question comes on your screen. Isotope of dash is used for treatment of goiter. Isotope of dash, which element is used for the treatment of goiter? Again, you are going to get 5 seconds. Your options are cobalt, nickel, manganese or iodine. I hope my children know goiter. The disease goiter is related to deficiency of which element? Yes? So you get that right. The answer is iodine. Simple. So should we do one more bonus question? What say children? So here comes next question on your screen. I hope you can hear me. Atoms of different elements having same mass number but different atomic number. Let me highlight that for you. Different elements having same mass number but different atomic numbers are called. Options are a bit confusing. Isotopes, second is isobar, third is isotones or mass percentage. Bit confusing option. Be cautious and then answer. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and time's up. Your answer is isobars. So children, here we come to the end of the quiz. But one more thing which I want to share that's very important is, okay children, what is the formula for maximum number of electrons in a shell? That is 2n square. Is it? See the diagram here. How many electrons in the first shell? 2 electrons. Let us put the value of 1 in the place of n. What is the answer? 2. Similarly, you can find it for n number of shells. It may be 1, 2, 3 or whatsoever. So let us put it 3 and let us see what is the answer we are getting. So 3n square. What is the square of 3? I hope all of you know that it is 9 and 9 twos are 18. So 18 is the answer. Isn't it a cakewalk? Cakewalk for all my students, right? So with this, we come to the end of a super awesome lecture. We have revised the whole chapter successfully in one shot, right? So do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my video. Stay tuned till then. Bye bye. Take care and keep hustling.